Right, so good afternoon. Before I forget, next week on the 3rd of May, I will be preparing the learners from the Free State Province here at 12 o'clock on the practical exam you'll be writing on the 7th of May. I'll give you specific advice on what you need to look out for, and I'll have some example questions I'll copy for you. I'm saying this because many of our viewers in our live stream that we stream out from here at this moment, they're not here from Free State, but I'm inviting them to attend with us online and also view the recorded lesson, because even though they're not writing on the 7th of May, they can still benefit from the Free State. Remember, Free State has been number one in life sciences for many years. You can clap if you want to. Right, people, today I want to tell you, you're going to find this lesson very interesting. It's not about the lesson, it's about the material, it's about the discussion, because genetics affects you and I. So can we have absolute silence, please? I've got an interesting question for you. Two people get married of normal pigmentation in their skin. They don't suffer from albinism. These two people get married. It's like the learners I see here in front of me here at this particular venue. I can tell those who are viewing online that here today we don't have somebody suffering from albinism. And those who do suffer from albinism, who are born like that, there's nothing wrong with them. It's only that they don't have enough pigment in their skin. In fact, they've got no melanin. It's a protein that you need. The more you have of the melanin, the darker you are. And the darker you are, the better for you, because you will be protected against the sun. You will not get skin cancer. The lighter you are, the greater chance there is that you will get skin cancer. So the darker, the better. Right, now please, let's continue. So there's absolutely people who suffer from albinism in the community should not be ostracized or victimized at all, because they are perfect people. They just lack melanin in their skin due to a gene which they inherited. They had no choice. Now listen how it works. On the board, you can copy this down. You don't need to study albinism as a specific example. I'm just using this example to show how things work in genetics. Let's say capital P stands for pigmentation in the skin. I'm using capital P. We can choose different letters, but I'm choosing capital P. The fact that you have pigment in your skin, it gives you color. You are well protected against the UV rays of the sun. That's capital P. When do people get albinism? It's from this recessive allele, the small p. Now, let's see. Let's say you have two of you here in the class with normal skin pigmentation. You become parents, you get married to one another. But your child is born albino. How does that work? So obviously it works like this. For a child to be born albino, do you agree with me? The child cannot be two capital P's. Am I right? Child cannot be like that. Can the child be like this and be albino? Because the moment the capital letter is there, it dominates the small letter. Maybe I'm like that. Maybe I'm a carrier of the allele, which is, remember, the gene is a variety of the gene is the allele. Maybe I'm a carrier of that allele. But I've got the capital P, so I've got pigmentation in my skin. But I could be a carrier, but you don't see it because the dominant allele dominates the recessive. In the phenotype, you do not see it. We say in genetics, it masks it, it blocks it from being seen. So what is the only option for a child? It means he must be two small p's. Am I correct? Now, obviously, you can start to make conclusions, because when you do genetics in exams, you must reason with yourself in the exam paper. You must really talk to yourself. And you say to yourself, how can a child be born from two parents with normal skin pigmentation like here? Because I'm telling you, it often happens. Two people get married, both parents have normal skin pigmentation, and yet the child is born albino. Now already you're telling yourself where it's coming from. You say to yourself, in order for this child to have two small p's, the one always comes from the one parent, and the other one comes from nowhere else but the other parent. So that means these normal parents must be like that. Is that true? So then there's a possibility that the small p from this side can get together with the small p from that side, and then the child is born albino. But now when you become a person specializing in genetics, you can become a genetic counselor. Somebody will come to you and say, in our family, my father is albino. Calculate the percentage chance that I will have a child that's albino. Then you become a genetic counselor. So let's do the calculations here. These two people are of what skin color people? Is this normal? Full pigmentation, that one? Also, eh? Which of these two have the most pigmentation? This one is darker than this one? No. No, it doesn't work like that, eh? It's simply, if the capital P is there, it's pigmentation. When it comes to darker and lighter, there's other factors that play a role, but this means there is pigmentation. The small p's means no pigmentation, and that is albinism. So let's calculate the percentage chance for if these parents are like this. If they were both heterozygous, what is the percentage chance for their child to be albino? So what you always do, you always put it in a Punnett square. You always do the rough work in your exam book, and you do rough work Punnett squares. That is the easiest way to do it. You say, well, we have seen the child is small p, so the two parents must be like that. People, are we in agreement? Yes. They must be like that. So, from this marriage, a child can be born with two capital P's, because this P you bring down, and this one you take across. Does this child have pigmentation? Yes, it's two capital P's. Eh? The child has normal pigmentation. This is capital P, I take it across. Always write the capital letter first, like in English language, and then the small p there. Does this child have normal pigmentation? Yes. Then capital P comes down. There you go, and this small p there. This child normal pigmentation? But look at this one. Small p and small p. Small p from there and small p. It's this one that I've shown here when the two small p's get together. So what is the percentage chance? Out of 4, it's 1. 1 out of 4 times 100, there's a 25% chance that the child will be born with albinism. Now, please make a note for yourself. In the exam, they're going to ask you. They can tell even a long story, and they can say, 2 children were born, and they're not albino. Calculate the percentage chance of the 3rd son being born. Doesn't matter if it's son or daughter, because it's not gender related. People that are albino are anyways boys and girls, but they come in the exam with the story, 2 are born, normal skin pigmentation. Now calculate the percentage chance for the 3rd child. You must write down what I told you last week already. If you were not here, write it down now. Doesn't matter if it's child number 2 or number 6 or number 7. You simply do this calculation as per the Punnett square. You say it's 25% chance. If it's the 3rd child, 25% chance. Because you do your Punnett square, it's 1 out of 4. If it's child number 7, 25% chance. Are you with me? Because some learners will be confused when they get that in the exam. You just do the Punnett square. In general, you do the calculation, and that's always your answer, whether child number 1. So this does not apply to child number 1, 2, 3, and 4. No. You do the Punnett square simply to calculate probability. All right. Now, I want to give you a real case scenario, because I'm trying to teach you how to reason with regards to genetics. So we had this situation about 3 years ago. I had a learner here who attended classes here, and he came to me after a lesson I spoke about albinism, and he said the following to me, and I want you to reason with me what happened in their family. He says, sir, because I could see him, he was of normal pigmentation. So all the children in their family, all all of them have normal pigmentation. And he was talking to me, so I could see his phenotype. He was of normal pigmentation in his skin. He says his dad is albino. And his mom is also, she's got normal pigmentation. Normal pigmentation. So now he was asking me, how is it possible that his dad is albino, and let's say there were 5 siblings. Not one of them is albino. Now you can reason with yourself. Let's reason about it together. And I'm going to ask you, this dad, if I'm going to use capital P and small p, please provide for me his genotype. Remember, the genotypes are the genetic codes. So dad must be what? If dad was like this, he would not have been albino. But I spoke to that father. He was a lovely person, and he was albino. So I know him well. So he cannot be like that, because if he has the capital P, then he would have pigmentation. But he never inherited from his parents any capital letters to have pigmentation. So what did he inherit from his parents? That dad inherited the small p and another small p. That's the only way that it would manifest. If I look at him, he's albino because he's homozygous recessive. Eh? Are we together? It cannot be anything else. So now I know the dad's phenotype and the genotype. Now I also know that these children are all of normal pigmentation. But now I'm asking, what will be the children's genotype? So now we must reason with one another. Please think about it. I'm giving you 20 seconds to think about this. What will be the genotype of all these children? Will they be perhaps like that? Are you saying I should consider this one? Because you guys are reasoning very well. I can see you totally reasoning correctly. You're going to do well in the June exams. Because with genetics, you must be able to reason, you see. And you can. You just talk to yourself, work these things out. You say, for all these children, all of them, to have normal pigmentation, they must have the capital P. I can't see, that boy who came to me, I could see his skin color, but I could not see his genotype inside his body. But one thing I know, I can look at his mother and his father. And the father will always give the small p. Because in genetics, you gain one gene from the one side and one of the other side. One from mom, one from dad. So for the father will definitely give the small p. But for them to be all normal, the capital P must be there. So I know the children are not like that. But they're all of normal pigmentation. Now what do I learn by looking at dad, and I look at the children all normal? What do I realize about mom in this case? What do I realize about mom? Do you think mom could be, is that possible? It's possible, isn't it? It is possible. It is possible, but out of 5 children, the small p from mom would get together with the small p from dad, and then there would be a child with albinism. But among those 5 children, not one. Then it shows that mom must be not like this, but 2 capital P's. Is that normal for pigmentation to have 2 capital P's? So then the capital P, so if you do the crossing, and we can just do it in rough like this. If yes, mom, and she's married to dad, then all the children were like this. It means she could give nothing else but capital P. He could give nothing else but small p. So now all the children are okay. But if she was like this, what would get together from dad's side? Then one of the children would have been albino. But when I spoke to him, I explained it everything, and he appreciated it very much because it was real to their family. So please raise the hand quickly, you tell me. In albinism, you don't need to know it as a case study. I'm just using it as an example. What have you learned about what causes albinism? Here's a certain learner, maybe she's sitting here. He or she, doesn't matter, male or female, but the person is albino. How did it come about? Can somebody please express it in words? Because you need to be able to do that in the exam. Take a genetic problem and write a sentence. You can even remind yourself that I need to be able to explain in words how certain phenotypes come about when they give me a certain example. So can you explain, please raise the hand. If an albino person would sit here, how did it come about that she is albino genetically? Put this into words. Put this into words. You can. Thank you so much. What about it? You can't answer like that. You must have a full sentence. Yeah. Because they will form the homozygous recessive combination. Now, you understand it well, thanks a lot. But this is here, I think you're going to verbalize it very nicely for us. I think many of these learners already realize that you're not correct. Because we said it could be that from both parents, they're heterozygous. This one carries a small p, that one carries a small p, they could be of normal pigmentation, but the child inherits from each of the parents a recessive allele. Hence, it manifests in the phenotype as albinism, because it's homozygous, recessive, the two small p's met. Do you see? One from each parent. So you must put it like that in full sentences. You must always, in life sciences, be able to answer in full sentence. Otherwise, you get like 1 out of 2. Like when you started off, you said 2 small p's, or you said 2 recessive alleles met. That's 1 out of 2 marks. You had to explain a bit in a full sentence, like you did eventually, okay? Now that's well done. But now, here's an interesting case we saw in the year 2016 in paper 2. Please go to the paper I gave you. I'm just thinking, now wait a minute, this is the paper I gave you last week. And those of you that don't have it with you, I've summarized it here on the board. What they say in a key, those of you that don't have that page, you can find it on our website, monetlaproject.co.za, and also watch last week's lesson, and the notes are there. But don't worry, those of you that do have it, check it out there. It's question 2.4 on next to there where you see the mice. Now, what you see there here is what you call a pedigree diagram. Pedigree diagram, which means the family tree. Now, they give us a key as to what's happening here. This question in 2016, paper 2, dealt with a condition I've never heard of. But that's what you always find in life sciences papers. They tell you about something that you've never heard of, but that doesn't matter because you simply apply the knowledge you've got to that question. They say it deals with a condition where your brain degenerates. Now that's called Huntington's chorea. Huntington's chorea. You are born with that because of certain alleles you inherit. Now here they say something interesting. They say to have this Huntington's chorea, it is the dominant allele. Dominant allele causes it. That means if you have the capital H, then you have the condition which I made in red here. Not the small letter. We tend to think of defects or mutations as the recessive allele, like with albinism. But some medical conditions you are born with is due to a dominant allele. Now, the key that they give in the question paper, they say if they use a square box, the square means for male, and if the square is colored in this case I just made lines like that, then it means it's got this Huntington's. Now, I told you, if you have it it means you have the capital H. That's what the question paper tells us. So it's not the recessive allele in this case causing the condition, it's the capital H. And if it's a circle like this, it means it's a female person. People, you're going to get this, by the way, you're going to get this kind of pedigree diagram for sure on 7 May. You can write that down so long. You're going to get another medical condition, but you're going to get it on 7 May, okay? If it's what I made here in red, and I did it like that, then I meant it's a female. That's also what the question paper said in 2016. Female with Huntington's chorea, which means she is carrying then the capital H. So now it's time for us to go and reason and help one another. And I want you, first of all, let me just ask you, who of you have got that question in front of you, brought it along from last week? Please raise the hands. Who of you brought this question paper of last week? You've got it with you. Can you see those of you, all of you here? Tell me, how many children were born to Carl and Sarah? 3 children. But the people who are sitting here with that paper, which you will get on the website, monetlaproject.co.za, will see here 5 people here. Because Susan, when she grew up, got married to, I can tell you to whom she got married, to Sean. And Liam, this guy, got married to Lisa. So they've got 5 here, but do not be confused with the number of people you see there. Carefully look at these lines. They had 3 children, Carl and Sarah. Now, we want to go and write the genotypes of each person in this pedigree diagram. And we're going to use, for the genotype, we're going to use capital H, because the question tells us it's caused by the dominant allele. So if I have the capital H, then I have the condition. Here it is. If I've got Huntington's, then it means it's due to me inheriting the capital H, the dominant allele. And the opposite is the recessive allele is the small h. Now I want you, with the person next to you, look at what I've got on the board here, and go and write for each of these 5 people what should be the genotypes of these people. Right, before you start, let me just ask you this question. Did some of you learn at your schools, some of you are a bit ahead and some are still catching up, did some of you learn about male and female, or female is XX and male is XY? And then you use XX and XY. Now you're not going to use it here. You're not going to use it. I will tell you later on if we have time today. If I don't tell you today, I'll tell you next week when to use X and Y. It's only with gender-related problems, which means only males inherit certain conditions like color blindness. You can clearly see this condition, this Huntington's chorea, which I've never heard of before until I saw this in 2016. This is for both males and females. It's not you're not going to use X's and Y's. You're going to use capital H and small h. And you work with somebody, please work with your friend. You can work 3 together or 2 together. Or if you're sitting alone, you can work alone. But quickly work out the genotypes of each of these people by using capital H, small h. You seem to be done already. So you must look at the children. The children will tell you a lot about what's going inside in the genotypes. Remember, you're going to write things like capital H, small h, or 2 small h's, or 2 capital H's. This group here in front, the first 3 rows, are you done? You've got genotypes of all these 5 people. Parents plus children. All Right, people, let's reason on this together. And you'll see how easy. People, genetics is very easy. You must just get in the mode of thinking of genetics. So it works like this. What did I say? Listen carefully. The question paper told us. You must read the details from the question paper. There's a lot of information in your question paper. It's giving you all the answers. The question paper said that capital H, it gives you Huntington's chorea. So this male, if anybody is a male or a female and they have capital H, they've got the condition. So for Sarah, what should be her genotype? Because exactly what I said, if there's a capital letter, then the person has it. Sarah, according to the key, is a female without it. What about Kate here? So already now I've scored 2 marks already, you see. Now, for these people, Carl, do you think I must write a capital H? But I'm asking myself, do you think Carl is perhaps like this? And you are reasoning very well because you look at these 2 people did produce children with 2 small, they did produce a child here without the Huntington's chorea, which means where did Kate get the 2 H's from, the 2 small H's? She got 1 small H from her mother, but the other small H she got from Tata Carl. You see? So, there you go. It's a small h. Now I've got the genotype of Carl, because I know he's got the condition, but he had a small h to give to his daughter. Hence, she's fine. She doesn't have the condition, but the father's brain is degenerating. All right. Now, Liam is here. Do you think he's got the condition? And as the question paper said, it's caused by dominant allele. So you must always read. This condition, maybe albinism, is caused by the recessive allele. You must always look, is it caused by what? This one is caused by the dominant allele. Then you just simply write it down. He's got it, so he must have the capital H. I'm even going to write for Susan as well, because she's got it as well. I'm writing so long the capital H. But the principle in genetics is, if you get one allele from the one parent, the other allele will come from the other parent always. And mother can only give in this particular case. So there I've got the genotype of Liam as well. And once again, Susan, where did she get the capital H from? The way we speak, we say, Susan inherited the dominant allele for Huntington's chorea from her father, Carl. And then, where will she inherit the other allele from? Mother. Now, she's got the capital H, now she's got the condition. Are we together? You see, I think you start to reason very well on genetics. People, let's now move over to blood types. So, when we talk about blood types, while I'm cleaning here, we need to understand that all of us in the world are divided into 4 blood groups. Only 4. And forget about the A plus and the A negative. Some people here among us are A positive. For the scope of matric exams, we don't investigate the positive and the negative. That's another topic. So please, can you pay attention and be quiet while I'm summarizing for you? We're now discussing blood types, or blood groups you can say. So if I test all of our blood in this room and I test the blood of people around the world, I will say, right, the phenotypes, which means is what I physically test. The phenotypes, there's blood type A. Many people are blood type A, the blood group A. And you can go for a blood test today and they will tell you that maybe you are blood group B. Now between A and B, there is what we call, we saw it last week, co-dominance. And for those of you who were here last week, please raise your hand and you tell us if the one parent is A and the other one is B, what does co-dominance really mean in reality? Please raise the hand. What does it mean if I say there's co-dominance between A and B blood groups? And we used example last week of a cow born, a calf with patches. But what does it mean to human blood groups? Thank you so much. Please listen to him. Exactly. You've answered well. He says, if I have a parent A and another parent with blood type B, then co means they're together. Then both are going to show in my blood. Both will be present, A and B. So then I'm classified as blood group AB. But between A and B, they dominate the recessive trait. Recessive. O is recessive. Some of us among us here are blood group O. But A dominates O, and B also dominates O. So O becomes what we call the opposite, it's recessive. So the genotypes, remember with genotypes we always write 2 letters. So I'm going to show you now, when I was at school, how we wrote the genotypes, but in the proper notation. The way they want us to write it nowadays around the world, they've decided we're going to write blood groups as I'm going to write it here. But let's reason about it. If I have a parent that's blood type A, that parent can give me that allele, and the other parent maybe is also blood type A, and I can have in my genotype homozygous AA and I'll be A. Do you agree with me? If I'm going to be A, don't you think if my one parent gives me the O from their side of the family, I will still be A because A dominates O? It's a fact. A dominates O. And I hope you've written it down. A dominates O. So I will be blood type A. Not AO, I'll be A in my phenotype. So for the phenotype, it can be like that, or, please look at this, this is an or. If I'm blood type A, then my genotype is like that, or like that. If I'm blood type B, I could have inherited from the one parent the B, and the other parent the B. Or from the one parent, the allele for blood type B, and from the other parent, the allele for O, but B dominates O, so I will be B. I will be B because B dominates O. Both A and B both dominate that. So what can be the genotypes for blood type AB? It can only be AB. From the one parent, remember that's how genetics works. One side, and then the other side of the family gives the other allele. So I can only be, to be in the phenotype AB when they test my blood, this is the only option for my genotype. Nothing else. And for O, how do I end up, or maybe you, they test your blood, they tell you you are blood type O. How did you end up being blood type O? You inherited from the one parent the allele for O, and from the other parent you inherited O as well. You've got nothing else there but O, then you are O. Are we together with that? But now you're not going to write it like this in the exam. You can even write there at the top, do not write it like this in the exam. They don't accept it. How do they want you, according to international way of writing? They say, let's use capital I for the chromosome that brings that allele. Then we put the I there, and we put the A there, and the A. So instead of writing AA, I just say, right, this is one chromosome carrying the A, and here's another chromosome that I inherit from the other parent carrying the A. So I'm AA, so my blood type, if I test it, is A. Are we together? But how will we represent this one, this AO, in the modern notation? We say, right, to write capital A, we put it like that. There's the capital A, we write it at the top there. And whenever I feel like writing O, the recessive allele for O, we indicate as an I. O is always equal to, whenever I feel like writing O, I must write small letter I, because it's being dominated by the capital letters. So for BB, you help me. If I follow the same pattern here, what should I write here? Capital what? Capital what? And here? That represents the chromosomes bringing the alleles. So what should I write at the top here? And this side? Do you see how we write it? That's how we write it. But for me to be blood group B, I could be BO. How do we write BO? Just like we wrote there. There's the B on top, and O. If I feel like writing O, I must write small letter I. So now you learn how to write blood type with the genotypes. That's the proper notation. Now for AB, every time we write the chromosomes where these alleles are found, we make capital I's, and then we simply go and we write the A and the B. There we go. There's no other option for that. And for OO, I told you if you feel like writing O, you must write 2 I's, because it's the 2 O's, you see. Now, let's take this situation and let's do this genetic problem. I'm going to write here, these 2 people got married. I'm writing it in this box and then I will do it here. So 2 parents got married. The one parent, both. Please write this down. Here's a question for you and we're going to do it together. Both parents are heterozygous. People, what does heterozygous mean? It means they're not the same. They're not like AA because that's homozygous. BB is homozygous. These parents, both parents are heterozygous for blood groups or blood types. Doesn't matter. One is A, the other parent is B. When they test their blood, they find the one is A and the other one is B. Now go and calculate, here's the question. Calculate the percentage for blood type O in the children. Remember, children is F1. Parents are called P1. So now let's go write it according to the format we learned about last week. We said if you want to score marks for any genetic problem, doesn't matter what genetic problem you do, you must go and do it according to this specific format. You must always use the format that I'm going to show you now. You say, well, the parents, P stands for parents. P1 are the parents. The children are called, what did I write here? F1. And their grandchildren will be F2. But P1 are the parents. So I say P1, and I want to summarize from the question, what are the phenotypes? So let's summarize it from the question. The phenotype is blood type. Who's getting married to one another here? Blood type A is getting married to blood type. Did the question say that here at the top? I said here, both parents are heterozygous. The one parent is A and the one is B. So I just took the information here and I wrote it. The phenotype is what you physically can test for, what you can see. But now these parents, they also have a genotype. Now I can see it from the question paper. The one parent is A and the other one is B, but they're both heterozygous. So for them to be heterozygous, if you look at the top here, what should I write here for the genotype for A? Don't you think I must write it like this? It's not homozygous, it's heterozygous, so it's A-O. That is now, I've written the genotype of the one parent who's A. If it was homozygous, it would have been AA. That's homozygous, the same thing. But it's heterozygous, it's AO. And the way I write AO is like this. And I've done that now. There's the one parent. Now, this person, doesn't matter if he's male or female, is getting married to the other person who's of the opposite gender, and they're going to have children together. Right? They're going to have children together. So, this one is blood type B, the question said. The one parent is B. What should I write here, people? What should I write here next to this? Because this parent is also heterozygous. So now, we say, all right, we're going to do a Punnett square. We always do Punnett squares. We're going to do a Punnett square and we write here. What do we write here always? Gametes. And what forms the gametes? You write the word meiosis always. And the gametes are going to get together in a process of fertilization. And you're going to get to the children as when these gametes unite, when sperm and ovum unite, you're going to get children, the F1. So how do we allocate marks? Because this will always count 6 marks. So you say, right, the person has written P1 and F1, 1 mark. Person has written meiosis fertilization, 1 mark. The candidate wrote correctly from the question paper the phenotypes, a mark there. The genotypes are correct. So far you already have 4 marks. And we haven't done the question yet. We haven't answered it yet. So we do it like we always do with the Punnett square. We take the first genotype there and we simply write it in here with a line in the middle. There is like that. Are we together? You see what I've done? I've just copied it there. Now I take the second one there and I fill that parent's the alleles in here. There you go. People, are you happy? You're happy with what I've done here? So what could happen now? The 2 people can have children. That allele will combine with this allele. I just bring this one across and that one down. These 2 people, the one was A and the one was B, they can have a child that's AB. Am I right? Because it shows there. I didn't know it, I see it in the Punnett square. But now, they can also, look, this one can go across, and then the small letter comes down. These 2 people, one is A, one is B, can also have a child with blood type B. That's what I've proven there, isn't it? Then, they can also have a child like this. What should I write here? I. And then what should I take across? Small letter I. These 2 people also have the ability to produce a child with blood type A. You see? But look who's going to get together in this option. Small I comes down, small I goes across. These 2 people got married. One parent A, one parent B, but they had this particular genetic makeup like this. So it shows the 2 small i's could also get together. They could also produce a child with blood group O. So if I have to summarize it according to the phenotype, this blood type here is what? AB, isn't it? This one is? This one is? And this one is? Blood type O. Can you imagine these 2 people got married, they have 4 children, and each child has a different blood type. All right, so now the question was, calculate the percentage of O in the F1. Then you say out of 4, it's 1 out of 4 times 100 you show. It's a 25% chance that if these 2 parents got married, they could have a child with blood type O. Genetics is very interesting. I want to sketch you a very interesting scenario of what really happened. This case went to court. Because genetics is used in court cases. Judges make their decisions. And it all has to do with, is the child really the father's child? So the following happened. Listen what happened for real. A certain husband was married to his wife, with the emphasis on was, because they got divorced. I'm sorry about that. But listen what happened. The husband, he knew genetics because he studied in grade 12. He really studied his genetics at school. He had blood type AB. His wife was blood type O when they tested her blood. A child was born, and the child was like the mother, blood type O. The father said, it's not my child. She says, how dare you say that? He says, let me draw you a Punnett square. Let me show you. And she listened carefully, because I'm going to summarize it here for you. Please listen here. Pay attention. This husband, the genotype. Let's write the genotypes. Please tell me, what should I write for the genotype? I. Then I put the A there and I put the B there because he's AB, isn't it? As simple as that. The wife is blood type, so she can't be anything else but that. So it says, right, let's put it in here. We say it like that. We put the A, we put the B. People, are you happy with what I'm doing? The wife, right? Now, for these two people, the following children could be born. A child could be born from this marriage with blood type what? A. A child could be born from this marriage, blood type, because B brings down in the I. Another child can be born with blood type. Another child can be born with. So it's 50-50 from these two people that they will have children with blood types A or blood type B. But from these two people, it's not possible to produce a child. And yet you test the child's blood and it is O. It means the real father had the recessive allele. So please write down the following, because they're going to ask you this in the exam. Blood types can indicate that a certain man is not the father. But I want to add something. Blood types can indicate that a certain man is not, with capital letters, the father. Okay. You can make a full stop. You can even start with the word but. But it cannot indicate who the real father is. It cannot, blood types cannot indicate, it eliminates me as the father. But we still don't know who the real father is because we're looking for him. Because he must pay maintenance for that child. In court, you see. So they use this in court. So please write down. It cannot show who the real father is. Make a full stop. To determine who the real father is, DNA profiling has to be done. DNA profiling, those barcodes, eh? That will give conclusive evidence. Who is the real father? And then we sue him. Yes, why not? Why should I pay for a child that's not mine? So that man must pay for everything for the next 20 years for that child. All right, people, I planned for today to also get to gender-related problems. But now we've run out of time. I'll include that when we prepare ourselves for the test next week for 7 May. Any learners with questions, you can come to me and enjoy your week. Thank you.